So in this video, I want to create a dynamic block based on some variety of factors. So I have different shapes and I have different material types, and I want to create a drop-down and then populate a property or an attribute in the block that'll tell me what I've selected. So in order to do that, I need to create some lookup tables and then link those lookup tables together, as well as put in some temporary objects. So I'm just going to call this posts. 0, 0 is fine. I want to select my objects, so I'm just going to select these 3 objects, and each is fine. And then I'll just hit OK after I check Open in Block Editor. So here I have my 3 polylines in my block. The first thing I want to do is create some dropdowns, and so I'll come up over here in the parameter sets. It's located here, and at the very bottom there is a lookup set. And so I'll just pick a point in the drawing. I could always move it later on, and now I have a lookup table within the drawing. I'll just hide this over here. I don't like using just the default name, so this is going to be material. And then I can double click on it on the thing here. Or I can right click and display lookup table, and that'll open up the lookup table. Here I can specify the material, so maybe I got wood, steel, and then fiberglass. And these will be the 3 options that I'll have in the list. And so I've got that going for me. Over here I'll add some lookup properties, but I really don't have anything that I can link to within the drawing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a dummy object or a dummy parameter set that I'll then hide. And so all I need to do is have it be a distance. So in this case, I'm just going to do a linear move. I'm just going to pick one point and then another point and then move it up. I don't need this to show up in the drawing, so I can, if I wanted to, I could delete that. But I want to give this a name that makes sense. So this is going to be distance material type is going to be my property. I also want to create another one because I have post size. And so I'll just pick another point, move it over here, and then give this a name of post size. These are just going to give me a place to save my properties. You need to create a selection set on it. And so I've got that one there. And so I've got that there. So up here, I want to set this lookup beam size. So I'll display the lookup table, and up here you can add properties. So I have material and post size, and so I could say, hey, this is going to be material type, so I'd hit OK. And I can say when it's wood, it's going to be 1, 2, and 3 for fiberglass. So when I change this property, it's going to change the property of the value. So that gives me a pop-up or a drop-down for the material, and then I want one for the beam size. And so that's at the very bottom. And I want to give it a different name, so this is going to be post size. Then want to change the table. Right-click and display it. And so let's say I have a 3x3 post, a 6x6 post, and then maybe a 12 by 12 post. So I'm going to add properties. So this is going to be post size, and this is going to be 1, 2, 3. So when I select it, it'll change the values. And do the correct values. And so that'll control what options I have available. I can test this block by hitting the test block. Down here I can see that I have wood, steel, and fiberglass. And then on the other drop down, I have the post size. So now I want to change the way stuff is displayed within here. So to do that, I need to set some properties of what the values are going to be. So I need to set some visibility states. So I'm going to close this. I want to create some visibility states, so I'll come in here and do visibility set, and then I'll just pick a point within the drawing. I don't want it to view the dropdown, so I'll just select the marker and hit the delete key. What I'm really interested in is that the visibility state comes up here. So here I want to create a visibility state for each property that I'm going to have. And so it's going to be a pretty big list because I want to have a visibility state for each one of the dropdowns. So I'm just going to rename the first one. So I think I have 3 by 3 wood. And then you can hit the new button and 6 by 6 wood. I'd hit new and I'd do 12 by 12 wood as well. And so I could continue this. So that's going to be 3 by 3 steel. And I'll do another one, 6 by 6 steel. And then 12 by 12 fiberglass, or wood. Oops, steel, I mean. And then I'd want to do 3 by 3 fiberglass. And the more complicated I get, I do this in Excel, create all the combinations, and then come back in and paste them into each one of the visibility states. And so that gives me the visibility states for that I want for my 2 dropdowns. So you can see as you add more variables, the bigger number of visibility states that you would need. So then I want to control what these dropdowns are. So as I change them, that they would update appropriately. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another lookup table or lookup set. So I don't need the markup, so I'll just click on that. I'm going to give this a name of viz state because that's what I'm going to look it up for. And then I'd want to display the lookup table. So I then just want to put the same values that I put in previously for the visibility states. And then over here, I want to add the properties. So I want to add in the material type. I want to add in the post size, and then the visibility state. So as these values are changed, so I know the material type is 1 for wood, so it's going to be 1 for each one of those. The steel is going to be 2, And then the fiberglass is going to be 3. And then for the post size, it's just going to be 1, 2, 3. And these are just corresponding to the values that are in the dropdown. And then I just want to pick the visibility state that matches the name on the lookup property. You don't have to, and this is why I would put it in Excel, that way I could copy and paste stuff over. So I don't have to do this stuff over and over again. And so as the dropdowns are done, so if the post comes here, the material type is materials wood, the 3x3, and then it'll automatically pick the item that I want. And so then I'd want to go through and change these. So I'm just going to scale this one down just so it looks correct. And so now I have my 3 posts. And I'm just going to do an offset. Too big. And then this will be my fiberglass. All right, so I got my blocks, and then I want to set my properties here. So I got 3x3 wood, and so I just want to make sure that what I don't want to see is there. So 6x6, that'd be the middle outline. And then 12x12. And so I've got the 12x12 wood, and then 3x3 steel. I don't want to show that, but I do want to show the inside of it. And then do the same thing for the 6x6. Just show what I want to show. So I've got that, and then I'll do the fiberglass. And then finally the last one. Oops. And so once I've done all that, I can then try it out. So I'll test the block. So if I look here, hopefully it's, if I change it to wood, and then I can change the size, and it doesn't work. So if it doesn't work, that means I've done something wrong. And I would just want to close this and then try to figure out what I did wrong. I think it's because I don't have anything there to move. So I think I should have kept So let's see if, since I have something there, I want to change the visibility so it's not shown. And see if it likes it now. Nope. So it's saving the values, but it's not changing my visibility state. So what it usually means is that I set this visibility state down, or this lookup parameter. Oh, did I accidentally delete my lookup parameter? Looks like I lost my lookup table. Actually, it's not lost, it's right there. So what I think I did wrong was that instead of just having one lookup table here, I need two of them that are, actually let me check my values here. So what I think I need to do is I need to delete that property column. And what I need to do is add two tables, lookup tables for this. And so I'm just going to delete this one. And delete it. And delete that one as well. And what I want to do is I want to create a lookup table with two parameters. So here I've already created one. So you could right click and copy this one, and then right click and choose paste. And I'll add another one. And in here you can go to the properties. And in the properties you can modify the values here. In order to modify it, you need to change the way the settings are. And so if I come in here and uncheck this display action bars, it'll change things here. So look up. I'm just going to close this and reopen it. So what I want to do is create a lookup set with two tables. So I'm just going to copy this one and then paste it. And if I right click on it, I can rename it. So I'm just going to do this as two tables. I can then right click and go to properties. So here is going to be a lookup type, but here on the actions, I can click on this little ellipse and I can add two actions. So this is going to have two lookup tables, and then I'll hit OK. And then I'll select it and put it in the drawing. And now these two lookup tables for this will be linked. I don't need the drop down arrow, so I can delete that, or I could hide it. And then this is going to be beam and material. And this one's going to be phys state. So now I'm going to put in the values here. And then I want to repeat the steps. Here as well. This is going to be steel. And then I want to add the properties to it. So I'm going to have material and then post size. And so this is going to be 1, 2, 3. And so I've got those values there, so I'll hit OK. And then here, I want to add the properties for visibility state. And as long as I use the same names here, it should find the same names on the other side based on the lookup table, since they'll be linked. And now if I hit OK, now if I hit close and save, so now if I go to wood, it'll change it to wood. If I go to steel, and then fiberglass, and then I can do 3 by 3 each one of those, change it to 12 by 12, and then go through and do steel. And then you can see it's one drop down, but as I change it, it'll change the various sizes. Looks like one of my visibility states is messed up, so I could go back in and fix that. And so I could come up here. I think wood, 6 by 6 wood is messed up, so that one's okay. 12 by 12, 3 by 3, 6 by 6. Yeah, 6 by 6 steel is messed up. And what I'd want to show is these two for that one. And so now if I close the block editor and save it, now if I change the sizes, it should all look good for steel. And then wood's looking pretty good too. And so that's how you can create a drop-down of 2 different materials and control the visibility state in the correct way.